All right, we had some concerns regarding the build that I showed in the video yesterday. It is using some uniques that I showed off, and it is also using a transfigure gem. And I want to address those concerns today. We did this on stream. I broke this thing all the way down to like just out of Act 10 Kitava gear, everything raw crap off the ground, just to see if the build works, if it's playable. I also dropped in a regular ball lightning instead of ball lightning of static. I even tried ball lightning of orbiting, but that one's kind of weird. I don't think that's really worth going for. Regular ball lightning, regular crap off the ground, and just to see if it's playable. And the great news is it is. It is playable. I think this type of build is really, really nice as something that you can kind of get this really smooth scaling. So the annoying thing, if you league start Detonate Dead, for example, is you're stuck playing a build that, I think we can all admit it, is not fun to play. Can we all, everyone in the room, can we all admit this? Detonate Dead is, it's a really, really objectively good build, but, the number one complaint is this thing is not fun to play. The nice thing about this build is I find it pretty fun to play. A self-cast spell is pleasant to play. It has good mechanics. It doesn't scale on 0 chaos budget, but I think it has a very smooth scale of scaling as you put more investment into it, and it does end up feeling pretty good. And so what we did today on stream is, here's some gameplay for you. Distract your little ADHD minds. Don't worry. I have the same problem. I know what it's like. The really nice thing about this build is it starts off feeling decent, and then it ends up feeling really good. With a moderate investment, it'll feel kind of similar power level to some of the, S tier league starters. It just won't be as good at a 0 investment like the S tier league starters are. Things like SRS Guardian, EA Blista, Bone Shatter, those guys are very special, right? For something that just works for 0 investment. This one feels pretty good at 0 investment, but it does ask of you to invest into it to hit that level that, really feels good. This is what I'm going to league start because I think it's fun and it's good enough at low investment. Yeah, what we did is I put on absolute trash. I just went to Act 10. I bought bases off of Whalum. I hit it with a Binding Orb, maybe 1 or 2 Chaos just to hit a couple mods that were usable, and that's what I put on. We're talking absolute trash off the ground type of gear just to cap my res and get a little bit of life and energy shield, something that the build would still work. I stayed on a 4-link, and in fact, I had mostly open gem sockets. I didn't fill every gem socket with utility or anything, just using the bare bones right here. And the build was very, very viable. In fact, what I started off doing was using Armageddon brand. And this is what we're going to do on stream tomorrow, is I'm going to start a fresh character, a fresh leveling experience, and really try to suss out the different, this is what feels good at level 10, level 20, level 30. Maybe we can switch to ball lightning early. Maybe this is where mana stacking really starts to pop up. Maybe mana stacking, you can do something in the campaign. I don't know. But really kind of feeling out those pain points right there. And that's what we're going to do tomorrow. But with trash gear from Act 10, I was able to at least farm Merc Lab and go for a ball lightning of static. But with a regular ball lightning with trash gear, I could even do tier 10 to tier 12 maps. And that really, to me, is the sign of a build that is a viable league starter. Make sure it scales with a few divines invested. It scales into getting your Exarch and Eater. But even before that, with 0 investment, being able to run, early red maps. I think that's, hey, you get your early progression. It feels good enough. Everyone has their own different requirements. But for me, if you can do that, farm early red maps, do the chaos recipe if you have to, and then, try to get enough currency, maybe do early heist if you want to. I know, early heist. Whatever it takes to get a little bit of early currency, maybe expedition, spend a couple hundred chaos, get some pretty good gear on early league start, and then you just kind of have this really smooth progression. And that's what I'm anticipating for this build, and that's my goal for this build as well. And I'm very happy with that being the progression for my league starter. And let's just do a little bit of a hands-on demonstration right here. So what I have is a Mind Spiral, which is a 1 elk unique. This thing is mega, mega common. I don't know if it's tier 4, tier 5, something like that. This is the one unique that I still have because it's so good for the build. I would say this is like the number one thing that you should buy right off the bat. As you can see, I go from 1400 energy shield to 2900 energy shield. It more than doubles it. So this is the number one thing that you're going to go for right here. It gives you max mana as energy shield. That's the big, big thing, max mana, all of that, as well as damage recouped taken as mana as well. So this thing is incredible. It's basically best in slot the entire time. Buy this right off the bat. As soon as you get your first alchemy, buy this thing. Everything else that I have is literally an item that I bought from Whalum, and I hit it with an essence or a binding orb. This was a single essence of Woe, And then this is what I hit. I used 1 essence and I hit this. Very usable. A blue pearl amulet. I just had this in my stash, I believe. It was just a random base. I hit it with a single essence of, I think it's Misery. Will give you mana regen rate. I hit it with an essence of Misery. Hit some nothing. There's like nothing on this, right? 6% all res and some energy shield. It's basically a 2-stat item. The shield, I hit it with a single binding orb. A little bit of res, tier 8 life, tier 11 mana. Rainbow Strides are still very, very good. Max mana, spell block, all res. Very solid item actually for us early on. We really like spell block actually. A single binding orb on this guy. Nothing on it. Single binding orb. A carnal armor is a very good base for us. Trash gloves, you know, regular trash gloves with some res on them. Whatever, you can pick this up in Act 8. And then trash belt as well that you could also get in like Act 8, Act 9. I am using a level 15 ball lightning. So, you know, you can set your expectations right there. And that is what we're going to do a map with. So let's grab a tier 12 map. This, I think, with this gear is kind of the upper bound a little bit of what we're going to be expected to do. And we'll toss it in. This is going to be what I am league starting. I will be making a very thorough guide for it. I think it is relatively beginner friendly. If you want to get into mana stacking, I do think this is a nice entry level setup to get into it. It does scale pretty nicely with some more investment. Oh yeah, and we also do have a Dream Fragments. I missed that before. This is just incredibly good for this build. Another 1 elk unique. We are using, currently my Eternal Blessing is on Grace, and then on the boss, I will switch that over to Wrath. And we are using regular Ball Lightning. And nothing else. I have Arcane Cloak on left click. Doing a tier 12 map with straight out of Act 10 gear, you know, buying a couple 1 elk uniques, and that's it. And, you know, it's not exceptional, right? It's just pretty smooth, pretty nice, and I think it's a good demonstration. What we did on stream today is I ran like 6 labs, I think. I actually made a lot of money. I made like 20 divines running 6 labs just because I hit 2 Penance Brands of Dissipation. I also hit Arc of Surging, and yeah. I did get a Transform Ball Lightning. Unfortunately, I ended up with Ball Lightning of Orbiting instead of Ball Lightning of Static, which is unfortunate. That the fact that Ball Lightning has multiple alternate qualities, ultimate transfigurations, is really annoying, actually. Because if you hit that one, you know, the guaranteed change this one gem type to its own type, you can't guarantee that you get Ball Lightning of Static. It's a 50-50. Actually, I don't know if they have different weights. Maybe it's not a 50-50, but yeah, I hit Orbiting, and it's not the one that I wanted. I'm going to switch to Wrath right here. I'm casting my, I'm cursing him. I actually shouldn't curse him because I believe this guy will do more damage to us with this physical damage attack. But yeah, you can see that the damage is acceptable, right? This is the self-cast setup here of regular level 15 Ball Lightning with garbage gear. And we can run a tier 12 map relatively comfortable. And I think that's pretty good at level 89, you know, with the 3 points unallocated. I think that that is a pretty good baseline for showing that the build is very viable in a league start scenario. You know, everyone has their own different expectations. Oh man, I don't know. We start talking about league start stuff. You know, I feel like I always have to be like really defensive about this, but yeah, no, you know what? F it. I like this build. I'm going to play this build. You don't have to play it. I don't care if you play it, but I'm going to be playing it. I think it's really fun. Particularly if you want something a little bit different than the regular, if you're sick, honestly, if you're sick of the regular old meat and potatoes builds that people have been playing 100 leagues in a row, I think this is worth kind of giving it a shot. Particularly if you're into mana stacking, it does work at higher investment. I think this is a very good demonstration of incredibly low investment and being incredibly viable, right? With doing like very, very budget gear, and we can do early red maps totally fine. I did do a tier 14 red map. You know, was a little bit uncomfortable on a 4-link like this. So, you know, it's not Detonate Dead, but it can do it. I did clear tier 14 red map deathless. Just the, you know, the lower damage to start to show off. But all you have to do, once you get your Ball Lightning of Static, this is the big thing. Ball Lightning of Static will, I don't know, triple your damage, basically. It is so much more damage. I don't know if there's another rare in this map that I can use to show it. This is the thing that like really unlocks the power of the build. You just have to get the Ball Lightning of Static, and things start to like really pop off. It'll clear things on the entire screen with a single cast. You just cast it over there, it kills everything. It's really, really good. So, you know, with this gear, you can just grab your Ball Lightning of Static. Once you get that, then you are able to pretty much just do at least tier 14 maps really, really comfortable, get a little bit better gear, and then you can run tier 16 maps very comfortably. And to me, that is a very acceptable kind of rubric for evaluating a league starter that I think feels pretty good. You know, the defense here, as you can see, is not exceptional because I still have like garbage gear, like gear that you probably shouldn't be wearing in red maps. But I think, you know, hopefully this is a fair enough demonstration of what I think is acceptable and playable. You know, again, I think it's like, you know, baby B tier, B+ tier for a league starter, which is acceptable and I think fine and fun, you know, if you're looking for this type of archetype. And it's very, very effective. Anyway, I just want to share with you guys what we did on stream today. What I will be doing on stream tomorrow is, as I said, leveling up a whole fresh new character. You know, I don't know if I'm going to do all of Act 10, but I'll do at least Act 1 through 5, and then we'll do 5 through 10. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, you know, if I have it down, if the leveling is kind of fine, we're going to break those down into segments, and I'll do, you know, individual videos that are sharing how I would recommend leveling through those segments as like a bite-sized thing instead of, you know, a 10-hour video. Also, really good news. I'm not going to put this build on max roll for this league. If it does end up being really good as a league starter, I could maybe put it on max roll next league. What I like doing is kind of for the max roll guide that I write, the next one that I write, I am going to go for, you know, tried and true, what I think are S tier or like really, really good league starters. So my next max roll guide is actually going to be, I did get confirmation that I can do it, my Frostblink Ignite Elementals. And I'm really, really excited for it. I love that build. To me, that is my favorite build that I've ever league started with. And I still, like, whenever I play like this build, I'm like, I like this build. I like the variety. You know, you want a little, you know, try something a little new. But man, that build is just so solid. And I'm excited to put on max roll and share it with you guys. If there's any updates or anything, I definitely will be making a video that has all the updates from the patch notes and everything that'll share with you guys everything that, you know, will make the build hopefully even better in 3.24. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited for that. That's it for me today. That's what we did. To me, this confirmed that this will be a very good league starter. Like I said, it's not Detonate Dead, but I do think it is very good, very viable. And as long as you're willing to spend a little time farming a little currency, get that Cloak of Defiance, get that Adziri's Foible, then that will really unlock full end game for the build. That's really all you need. You get those two things and the build's like basically unlocked at that point, and you're farming your T16 maps, which, you know, I think is pretty acceptable, even still on a 4-link. So I think that's great. Thank you all for watching and joining me on this. We got plenty more coming. Still going to keep those daily uploads going. Subscriptions and the support's been pretty incredible. And yeah, I'm glad that you guys are interested in the build as much as I am. I'm going to get this video out, going to rest up, and we'll be back tomorrow with some more league start prep. I can't wait. 324 I think is going to be it's going to be really fun. And then yeah, Sunday night I'm flying down to LA and we're going to interview Jonathan, play some more PoE 2. That's why I'm wearing my PoE hoodie. PoE 2, man, I am not worried. I think it's going to be a banger of a game. That Huntress, you know, if you saw my interview, you saw how excited I was about that Huntress. She feels so good. That alone, the playstyle of that character gave me so much faith that the feel of PoE 2 is going to be incredible. And I'm so excited to play it even more on this coming Monday. So it's going to be super fun. Again, thank you guys for everything. I can't wait to share this league with you guys and everything that's coming in the future. It's been a blast, and I'm excited for a lot more. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.